Chapter 4. The Yoga of Devotion and the Supreme Vision. Welcome back to Bhagavad Gita, ancient wisdom for modern life. In our last chapter, Krishna lifted the veil on his own divine nature. He revealed himself as the single thread upon which all of existence is strung, the source and sustenance of the cosmos. He described his divine opulences, showing Arjuna how to see the spark of his splendor in the greatest of all things. Having heard this, Arjuna is now fully convinced of Krishna's supreme divinity. His illusion is gone. But hearing of God's cosmic glory and seeing it are two different things. A new, profound desire has awakened in his heart, not just to know, but to witness. To behold the totality of reality in a single divine vision. We now arrive at the dramatic climax of the entire Bhagavad Gita. In this chapter, the Yoga of Devotion and the Supreme Vision. Arjuna will make his audacious request, and Krishna will bestow upon him a terrifying and magnificent grace. What follows is the journey from awe to terror, and from terror to the sweet refuge of pure devotion, which is ultimately crowned as the supreme path to liberation. Part 1. The Vision of the Universal Form. Arjuna, his hands folded in reverence, his voice filled with awe from what he has just learned, speaks to Krishna. My dear Krishna, by the most confidential knowledge you have so kindly given me, my illusion is now dispelled. I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, and have realized your inexhaustible glories. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your original form, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. It is the ultimate request for a mortal to gaze upon the infinite. Krishna, the Lord of all mystics, grants his devotee's wish, but he explains that Arjuna cannot see this form with his present eyes. My dear Arjuna, you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. Sanjaya, who is narrating this entire exchange to the blind king Dhritarashtra, then describes the moment of revelation. O king, having spoken these words, the supreme lord of all mystic power displayed his universal form to Arjuna. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, expanding. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their brilliance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. Arjuna, now seeing with his divinely gifted eyes, is completely overwhelmed. He sees the entire universe, with all its infinite divisions, situated in one place, in the body of the God of gods. Bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bows his head to offer obeisances, and with folded hands, he begins to speak. His voice is a torrent of praise, a poetic explosion of devotion and awe. My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents. O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths, and eyes, expanded without limit. I see in you no end, no middle, and no beginning. He sees a form of blinding, immeasurable light, difficult to look at because of its glaring effulgence. He sees Krishna as the original Lord, the ultimate resting place of all, the unborn, the greatest. But as his eyes adjust to the sheer scale of the vision, his awe begins to mingle with a new emotion, fear. The vision is not just beautiful, it is terrifying. He sees the destructive aspect of the divine. Arjuna's voice begins to tremble as he describes the horrifying sight. I see all the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, Karnand, our own chief soldiers as well, all rushing into your fearful mouths. Some I see trapped with their heads smashed between your teeth. As the rivers flow into the sea, so all these great warriors are entering your blazing mouths and perishing. I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths. Your effulgence is covering all the universe with terrible, scorching rays. Terrified, Arjuna begs to know the identity of this fierce and awesome form. Krishna's reply is chilling and absolute, revealing the form's immediate purpose on the battlefield. Time, I am the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandava brothers, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. Therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Hearing this, the trembling Arjuna offers his prayers again. But this time they are the stammering apologies of a man who realizes he has treated the infinite Lord of the universe as his casual friend. He begs for forgiveness for any disrespect he may have shown. And then, unable to bear the overwhelming vision any longer, he makes a final, desperate plea. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I desire to see you in your four-armed form, holding the conch, club, disc, and lotus flower. I wish to see you in that form. The Supreme Lord, seeing Arjuna's terror, first shows him his four-armed form, and then finally returns to his original two-armed human form. Arjuna, seeing the gentle human form of Krishna once more, sighs in relief, his mind pacified, restored to its normal nature. Krishna then explains the profound significance of what has just happened. My dear Arjuna, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form. It is not by study of the Vedas, not by penances, not by charity, nor by worship, that I can be seen as you have seen me. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. Many astronauts, upon seeing the Earth from space, have described a profound cognitive shift known as the overview effect. They see our planet, it's not as a collection of warring nations, but as a single, fragile, living organism hanging in the vastness of space. They are overcome with an incredible sense of unity, awe, and a deep responsibility for our shared home. This is a glimpse, a tiny fragment, of what Arjuna experienced. The Vishvarupa is the ultimate overview effect. It is the direct perception of reality in its totality, past, present, and future, creation and destruction, beauty and terror, all happening at once. Modern science gives us an intellectual version of this. We can conceive of the 13.8 billion year history of the universe, the trillions of galaxies, the quantum foam at the smallest scales. But to experience it all simultaneously would be, as it was for Arjuna, both magnificent and mind-shattering. Arjuna's terror is honest and important. We often romanticize enlightenment, thinking it will be a purely blissful experience. But the direct perception of truth can be terrifying because it annihilates the ego. To see that all of creation and destruction is a divine play is to realize that our personal dramas, our cherished victories and feared defeats, are infinitesimally small. Arjuna's plea to see the gentle human form again is also our own. We cannot live on the cosmic scale, need a relatable personal connection to the divine. Krishna's final teaching is the key. It is bhakti, a loving, personal relationship. It allows us to access the mystery of the infinite without being destroyed by it. Love is the bridge between the human and the cosmic. Part 2. The path of pure devotion. After the overwhelming intensity of the universal form, the 12th chapter serves as a calming and clarifying balm. Arjuna, his mind now steady, asks a question to determine the best path forward. which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal, unmanifested Brahman. Krishna's reply is immediate and clear, establishing the central theme of this part of the Gita, the power of Bhakti Yoga. Those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshiping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. But those who worship the unmanifested, which is beyond the perception of the senses, also eventually achieve me. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the supreme advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. He then makes a beautiful promise to those who follow the personal path of devotion. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them, I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. He then gives Arjuna a ladder of devotional practice, starting with the highest ideal and providing alternatives for those at different stages. First, he says, fix your mind on me. If you cannot do that, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. If you cannot do that, then work for me. If you cannot even do that, then simply work in the world, but offer the results of your action to me. He concludes the chapter with a beautiful, poetic description of the qualities of his beloved devotee, the person who is dear to him. It is a portrait of spiritual and emotional perfection. One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination. His mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine, is very dear to me. He for whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipped in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result is very dear to me. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who does not care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. Modern Reflection 2. A blueprint for emotional intelligence tone shifts. Modern. It's insightful Arjuna's question. Personal God versus impersonal forces, a timeless spiritual debate. Krishna's answer is deeply psychological. As human beings, we are wired for relationship. We thrive on connection, empathy, and love. For most of us, trying to love a formless, abstract concept is incredibly difficult. The path of bhakti harnesses our natural human capacity for relationship and directs it toward the divine. Makes the spiritual journey an affair of the heart. The list of qualities of a dear devotee is one of the most practical and profound parts of the Gita. It's not a list of religious rules. It is a blueprint for emotional intelligence and psychological well-being. Think about it. A kind friend to all, equal in happiness and distress, tolerant, not disturbed by anyone, free from anxiety. This is a perfect description of a person who is centered, resilient, and a positive force in the world. These are the qualities we admire in the best leaders, the most compassionate friends, and the most effective parents. The Gita teaches that these qualities are not just personality traits. They are the natural outcome of a strong spiritual connection. When your sense of security comes from your relationship with the eternal, you no longer need to be possessive, envious, or thrown off balance by the ups and downs of life. You become a source of stability and kindness for everyone around you. This chapter gives us a clear picture of what a loving connection to the divine looks like in human terms. Part 3. The Field and its Knower. After the devotional ecstasy of the previous chapters, Krishna now gently guides Arjuna back to a more analytical understanding of the world, grounding the cosmic vision in the immediate reality of one's own body and consciousness. Arjuna asks about the field and the enjoyer. Krishna begins by defining the field and the knower of the field. This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field. O scion of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. And to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. This is a powerful distinction. The field Kshetra is everything that is not the true self. It includes the physical body, but also the mind, the intellect, the ego, and all the objects of our perception. It is the entire stage upon which the drama of our life unfolds. The knower of the field Kshetrajna is the soul, the Atman, the pure consciousness that witnesses the drama. Krishna adds that he, as the supersoul or Paramatman, is the ultimate knower in all fields. He then lists the components of the field in detail, the 5 great elements: senses, the mind, the objects of the senses, desire, hatred, happiness. Distress it is the sum total of our psychophysical existence. Next, he lists the qualities that constitute true knowledge. This is not about accumulating facts, but about cultivating virtues. The list includes humility, nonviolence, tolerance, simplicity, cleanliness, self-control, renunciation of sense objects, and an unswerving devotion to him. Anything apart from this, he says, is ignorance. He then describes the object of knowledge, the supersoul, Brahman, which is beginningless, subordinate to him, and lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. He describes it as pervading everything, yet being unattached, the master of the gunas, yet transcendental to them. It is within and without all beings, subtle and beyond the power of the material senses to see or know. He is the light of all lights, the object of knowledge, and is situated in everyone's heart. Modern Reflection 3. You are the driver. It's not the car. The Gita's distinction between the ute. Field and the knower is perhaps one of the most powerful concepts for modern mindfulness. Think of it this way. You are the driver, not the car. The car is your body and mind, the field. It has its specifications, its strengths, its weaknesses, its dents from past accidents. The fuel gauge goes up and down your energy levels. The engine makes noise, your constant thoughts. The GPS gives directions, your ego's desires. The radio plays static, your anxieties. For most of us, we live our entire lives thinking we are the car. When the car gets scratched, we feel damaged. When the car is running low on fuel, we feel depleted. When the engine makes noise, we think those thoughts are us. The practice of mindfulness and the wisdom of this chapter is the process of realizing you are the calm, conscious driver sitting in the driver's seat. You are the awareness that is using the car. You are not the body's sensations. You are the one feeling the sensations. You are not your thoughts. You are the one hearing the thoughts. This simple shift in identity is profoundly liberating. It means you can take care of the car, eat well, exercise, manage your thoughts without being completely defined by its condition. When a difficult thought or emotion arises, you don't have to be swept away by it. You can observe it as a driver observes a warning light on the dashboard with calm. Detached awareness on, then choose how to respond. This is the foundation of true inner freedom. Krishna now delves deeper into the workings of material nature. He explains the 3 gunas, or the 3 modes, that bind the eternal soul to the temporary body. This is one of the most practical and psychologically insightful chapters of the Gita, the Sanskrit, word guna means rope or quality. These are the three subtle forces that weave the fabric of material existence and influence all our thoughts, actions, and desires. Krishna defines each one. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty-armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. Sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. And because of this, the embodied soul is bound to material fruitive action. And the mode of ignorance, born of darkness, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. He explains how these three forces are in a constant state of competition. Sometimes goodness prevails, sometimes passion, sometimes ignorance. He gives clear signs for recognizing which mode is dominant. When wisdom and light are present, it is sattva. When greed, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire are present, it is rajas. When darkness, inertia, and delusion are present, it is tamas. He describes the destination of a person who dies in each mode. Those in goodness go to the higher. Pure planets, those in passion, are reborn among the active. And those in ignorance are reborn in the animal kingdom or lower forms of life. The fruit of sattvic action is purity. The fruit of rajasic action is misery. And the fruit of tamasic action is foolishness. Arjuna then asks the crucial question, how can one go beyond these three modes? Krishna describes the state of a person who has transcended the gunas. Such a person is not disturbed by the effects of the modes, remaining neutral and knowing that it is only the gunas that are acting. They are situated in the self, equal in happiness and distress, and see a clod of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye. And then he gives the method for transcendence. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. The Gita's teaching on the three gunas is nothing short of a psychological user's manual for the human mind. It provides a brilliant framework for understanding our moods, our habits, and our energies without judgment. Think of your consciousness as a clear lake. Tamas is the mud at the bottom. When it's stirred up, the water becomes cloudy, dark, and heavy. This is the state of procrastination, depression, lethargy, and addiction. We feel stuck, and clarity is impossible. Rajas is the storm on the surface. The water is agitated, full of waves and frantic activity. This is the state of stress, ambition, anxiety, and hustle culture. There is a lot of energy, but it is restless, unsustainable, and ultimately leads to exhaustion and misery. Sattva is when the mud has settled and the storm has passed. The water is clear, calm, and reflective. This is the state of flow, of peaceful focus, of clarity, of altruism, and of genuine happiness. This framework is not about labeling yourself as a sattvic person or a rajasic person. We all cycle through these modes every single day. The wisdom here lies in self-awareness. By observing your state of mind, you can ask, which guna is influencing me right now? If you're feeling tamasic, you know you need to introduce some rajasic energy. Go for a walk. Put on some music. Accomplish a small task. If you're feeling overly rajasic and stressed out, you know you need to cultivate sattvic energy. Meditate, spend time in nature, read something inspiring, perform an act of selfless service. The goal of a conscious life is to gradually increase the amount of sattva in our ecosystem. And Krishna says the ultimate method to do this is the one that purifies the lake entirely. is bhakti, connecting our actions to a higher loving purpose. This is a profound and practical path to mental and emotional mastery. It is said there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree has roots going down. These are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. This is a vivid metaphor for our entanglement. The tree's roots are upwards in the spiritual realm in Brahman, showing that this world is a reflection of a higher reality. But its branches, our desires and karmic actions, grow downwards, entangling us further and further in material life. We mistake the reflection for the real thing. No one can understand where this tree begins or ends. But Krishna gives a clear instruction on how to escape it. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. One cannot understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this firmly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek out that place from which, having gone, one never returns. And their surrender to that Supreme Person from whom everything began, he describes the nature of his supreme abode place. That is not illuminated by the sun or moon or by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to the material world. He then explains his own position as the Supreme Person, Purushottama. He is transcendental to both the fallible Kshara, which constitutes all beings in the material world, and the infallible Akshara, the liberated souls. Because he is the Supreme, he is celebrated in the world and in the Vedas as that Supreme Person, because I am transcendental, beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that Supreme Person. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, without doubting, is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. He concludes by stating that this is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, and anyone who understands it will become wise, and their endeavors will know perfection. In this monumental chapter, we have journeyed to the furthest reaches of the cosmos and into the deepest chambers of the human heart. We stood with Arjuna, trembling in awe and terror before the universal form, and understood that love is the only bridge that can span the infinite. We found in the path of devotion a blueprint for a life of emotional resilience and kindness. Then we grounded this cosmic vision in the immediate reality of our own lives. We learned to see ourselves as the calm driver, not the noisy car, to recognize the subtle forces of the gunas that shape our moods, and to understand the world as a tree of entanglement that can only be cut down by the axe of detachment. Krishna has shown Arjuna the ultimate vision and has laid out the complete path of Bhakti Yoga. The yoga of devotion is the surest way to attain him. The philosophical and visionary climax is complete. What remains is to understand how to apply this supreme knowledge in a world of duality, to distinguish the divine from the demonic nature within ourselves, and to receive the final summary instruction of the entire Bhagavad Gita. We invite you to join us for our fifth and final chapter, The Eternal Truth and Liberation, where we will explore the divine and demonic natures and witness the final ultimate synthesis of all the yogas. You have been listening to Bhagavad Gita, Ancient Wisdom for Modern Life, a Wealth Waves production. Thank you for your unwavering presence on this sacred journey.